Buying a new truck in America is going to cost you a pretty penny, and that includes Toyota. To get your feet into a base SR grade, which is detuned versus these other models, over $31,000. People have been clamoring for a more affordable pickup truck from Toyota. The Stout, where's the Maverick Fighter? Why are trucks so big nowadays? Why can't we have a small pickup truck like we did from the 80s? Look at the Back to the Future truck. Very different in size compared to today's Tacoma. Well, I did some snooping, and I found that Toyota has trademarked IMV. If you're not familiar with IMV, and this is a trademark for the United States, IMV stands for Innovative International Multi-Purpose Vehicle, and it uses body-on-frame construction. Toyota's been using this IMV platform for a while, and they just refreshed this platform with a new vehicle called the Hilux Champ. All right, but other vehicles have used previous generations of this platform, like the Hilux, the Fortuner, and the Innova. All right, but the Hilux Champ gets my attention. No frills, basic truck starts at $14,000. With Toyota trademarking IMV, could Toyota find a way to bring its affordable truck into the United States? Well, we'll break it down today. If you guys are excited for anything Toyota body on frame, make sure to smash that like button. This week, I'm reviewing the new 4Runner TRD Pro. It cost over $70,000. How it's equipped, holy smokes. All right, stay tuned for my review on it. But let's get into what we're working with today. Let's start with this vehicle based off of the IMV platform. All right, they called this initially the IMV Zero, and then they renamed it to the Hilux Champ, as you can see on the door here. This is a highly configurable commercial grade vehicle. Yes, it comes in manual transmissions. It's just a two-seater, and it's very basic on the inside. If this rings a bell in terms of how basic it is, let's look at the Slate pickup truck, a startup from Amazon / Bezos himself. This is going to come out, but it's fully battery electric, and it's going to be, now that there's no longer an EV tax credit, this truck / SUV that it is highly configurable might not come to the market, first of all, but if it comes, it's going to be about $30,000, which at that point, you know, you could have no range anxiety with a base SR Tacoma. All right, so and then you can also have a Maverick hybrid if you want good fuel economy and not have to worry about any sort of BEV range or anything like that. But the inside of the Slate is very reminiscent of what Toyota has with this IMV Zero / Hilux Champ. So let's head on over to Toyota Thailand. This is where the truck is made. All right, we have pretty basic unpainted front bumper here, but yeah, it's utility over style for sure. Look at the interior, very basic. A little digital screen here, analog speedometer. No cruise control, but I'm sure it can be outfitted with cruise control. We do have power mirrors. We do have air conditioning. There's no radio in here like the Slate. Here's the interior with the manual transmission. Look how basic this truck is. And I like how the driver's seat here, this is a passenger seat because it's right-hand drive. The passenger seat is enlarged seemingly. I don't know why it's so much bigger. And maybe if you need to like fit a really small Thai person in the middle here without a seatbelt, that would be awkward because you have to shift the truck manually. Here we go. This looks more livable. This would be more like the truck if we were to get it stateside. This would be more of what it looks like, okay? I know this is an automatic configuration, but look, we have some styling in here. And there is a little cubby where you could put a screen right there. If it comes to the United States, they would probably put a screen on. But again, depending on what kind of price they want to bring it to, it should be optional, right? A screen. A lot of people don't want a screen in their vehicles nowadays. All right, so you just use your phone. That's what Slate's doing. All right, and speaking of Slate, I love this little diagram showing how big trucks have become. The Slate is slightly bigger than the old SR5 pickup truck from the 80s. Look how much bigger a Maverick is compared to it in a Silverado. Okay, this Hilux Champ is probably similar in size to this Slate truck. So that's a win. People want small, affordable trucks. Basic seats here that are just recline and incline. No height, but you can slide it forward. You have the slidey bar here. Some safety features here. I mean, this isn't important for Thailand to have motorcycle and scooter detection. But let's go on to the next page here. You have two different bed lengths, and look at the sides of the bed fold down. Would that make it to the United States if it was sold here? And the answer is highly unlikely. It would probably have to be a fixed bed for safety purposes. But I would love to see it. Now, if it's sold as a commercial truck stateside, which is always a possibility, then they could get away with having a bed that folds down like this for better utility. Look, it'd be so easy to load a pallet on here with a forklift. Oh, man, we can only dream, right? Performance. Well, we have different engine options here. And if we were to see this stateside, who the heck knows what kind of powertrain we would see. Now, this is body on frame, it's rear wheel drive or 4x4. And it is either part-time 4x4 or all-time 4x4, depending on the configuration. So this is a very familiar engine. This is the 2.7 liter 2TR engine that we've seen in the Tacoma previously. The 2TR engine goes up to about 161 horsepower. All right, so this might be in kilowatts here, for example. And then Newton meters of torque as well, I believe. So anyways, yeah, this engine is bulletproof, all reliable here. You also have this 2 liter. I think they're both gasoline engines. I think this is a 2 liter gasoline engine, but there's also the diesel, the 2.4 liter diesel that is available. Would we see a diesel here? Well, I doubt it because of emissions regulations, but regulations are relaxing. And is it just coincidence as CAFE gets thrown out the window, as emissions regulations are being deregulated and less enforced? Is it just a coincidence we see this being trademarked in the United States? It could absolutely be coincidence, but there's always a snowball's chance that Toyota could bring it stateside. All right, 5-speed manual, automatic, ABS. That's, I think, a mandatory thing in the United States is ABS. Now, Here's where it's going to run into other issues. Toyota would have to equip this thing with more airbags, more structural rigidity, more complexity to bring it here. Does that make sense from a cost perspective for Toyota? Or could they make it stateside and that would fix essentially this issue of importing it? Okay, that's a small possibility. They really don't have production volume in the United States to build something like this. All right, so here's the platform. Nothing too special. It's body on frame, very basic, bare bones setup. You have leaf springs in the back and a double wishbone in the front. All right, so if we were to import it into the United States, well, we got to look at starting price. So let's get back to here. Starts at 459,000 Thai baht. Baht to US dollars, it's over $14,000. Does that mean it'd be $14,000 that came to the United States? Absolutely not, because we have tariffs. You have 2 tariffs that would be affected into this vehicle, 44% total. So you have 25% from the chicken tax. Any truck or commercial vehicle imported in the United States gets hit with 25%. Then we have this new 19% tariff for imports, assuming that's what it would be on vehicles from Thailand as well. So that would get us to 18,720 based off a $13,000 MSRP. So maybe it would be more closer to $20,000 by the time it got here. If it was $20,000, it would be successful in the United States. No doubt in my mind. $20,000 bare bones, single cab, 2.7 liter manual or automatic, just a basic work truck. It would be very successful and it would be highly customizable. All right. Here's Toyota touting this vehicle's capabilities for conversions, which is great. You can do lots of stuff with it, and then you can use it as a blank slate, like Slate is advertising. You can turn it into a camper vehicle. You can turn it into a little street hot rod. You can turn it into a mini coffee shop, a retailer, a delivery truck. This thing would kick the pants of a lot of commercial vehicle stateside. And it blows my mind that Toyota has no commercial vehicles in the United States. Nissan tried it and they failed, all right, with the NV series vans and whatnot. All right, but Toyota's a different beast. If Toyota tried, I wouldn't be surprised if they succeeded here. And I think many of you would rather have a no frills basic Toyota pickup truck instead of a Slate. I would, but Slate's the only one kind of doing it or will do it or is promising to do it. Does this trademark confirm that Toyota is going to bring a no frills bargain basement truck to the US? The answer is it's still not going to happen. Unless I hear it from Toyota, there's no way we would see a miracle of this vehicle being brought into the United States. And it's just unfortunate. Why is Toyota even trademarking IMV? Well, they trademark and patent everything they possibly can. They trademarked recently Century, and I'm very confident at this point that Century is coming into the United States to sit above Lexus. I'm very confident that that is going to happen. I could be wrong, but I've heard from a couple sources that it's likely to happen. So just stay tuned there. All right. Lexus and Toyota have also trademarked all these other things recently, like the Estima. Well, we didn't get the Estima. We got the Previa, which was the same vehicle. We have the Prado now, but they don't call it the Prado stateside. We don't get the Kluger. We get the Highlander, right? It's the same vehicle. So there's all these different trademarks. Land Cruiser FJ. Does that mean we're going to get the baby Land Cruiser here? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that. It just means that they're covering their bases if they were to incorporate it into the U.S. lineup. Man, stay tuned for my 4Runner review. The complete opposite of an affordable vehicle that we're talking about right here in the Hilux Champ based on that IMV platform. But I'm excited to bring you anything Toyota. And if you like Toyota, make sure you're subscribed on the channel. But I'll see you guys in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day and peace.